Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
There can be only one.
Let yourself feel the stack. Talk.
Potent.
We're
Potent.
a couple of potent guys.
Mm-hmm.
We're not
Sitting
sterile.
alone in the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Ready to repopulate the world.
Yeah, that's us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hi everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to Princes of the Universe.
Princes of the Universe.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like silk.
Man, every time.
Yeah.
It never gets old. I'm sad this is the final episode of Princes of the Universe
Oh my
because
God.
then I will have no reason to burst out into Queen's Princes of the Universe.
Yeah, you just
Other than the
reminded
regular,
me.
the standard reason of like joy.
Yeah, you remind me it's the last one. Now I'm sad too. Yeah, you could do it in other episodes for no reason. For no.
That's
you
true.
know.
I could keep this ball in the air forever.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, who gives a
Yeah.
shit?
So yeah, this is the last episode. You guys, we've come a long way. Special thanks to James Rainey for being the one who made this all happen. James,
For being the only one.
yeah,
Did I do that right?
yeah,
Yeah, I did that
James,
right.
you are the only one in our hearts.
There can be only James Rainey.
Yeah, this was a wonderful idea. This has been quite the journey. And
Yeah,
it's-
man.
And it's yeah.
There's been some real peaks and valleys in
Yes.
this series.
It's coming to an end with the final Highlander movie, the anime, Highlander: The Search for Vengeance.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I think.
Man.
Yeah, The Search for Vengeance.
Yeah.
This is not available on streaming. We had to get it on the DVDs.
Yeah, this is pretty tough to find.
Yeah. It wasn't that tough to. You just had to get it on the DVDs, and then it was cheap. It was like $7.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I think it's on it's probably on some random weird streaming services
It might be
or
on like
something out there.
Crunchyroll or something. I don't know.
Yeah, this is kind of a perfect. I don't know if James meant this. I thought this is kind of a perfect movie to end on, if you ask me, because
I think I agree.
yeah, because for one main reason is that up until this point, what has plagued the Highlander films is money, production problems, not
Yes.
being able to shoot where they want to shoot. And this is an animated film, so they don't have really that problem. They can build any world they want.
Yes.
And this was an attempt by the producers to sort of reset the franchise.
Yeah, it's focusing it on a new character, and it really does play out kind of like the first Highlander movie. It's very similar to the first Highlander movie.
Yeah.
Except it goes further into the future, into like a dystopia.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of Highlander 2 in it for that reason.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So I guess let's go into Wetlander and talk about what this movie is about.
Yeah.
It follows, what's his name? Colin McLeod?
Colin McLeod, who's actually like not even... He's older than that. Like they make him like an honorary member of the Scottish clan we see in the beginning.
Yes.
But he's already been dead for a couple hundred years at that point.
Right.
When he gets
Yeah,
killed
right.
trying to fight that guy Marcus, who's his arch enemy.
Yeah.
This movie, it's basically about like he was like a Celt, I think, who was like one of the barbarians in Rome's way of like conquering the world. Like they got all the way into like the Germanic tribes of Europe or something, I believe. You know, like where Hadrian's Wall is.
Okay.
So he's one of those guys.
Yeah.
And Marcus is this Roman general, and he just absolutely steamrolls him and
Yes.
his guys.
Crucifies his wife.
Crucifies his wife. And then, like, I texted you, Dave, after, like, when I was 75% of the way through this, just being like, this movie is basically about a guy getting his ass kicked by the same dude for 2,000 years.
Yeah, it's Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Yeah. Yeah, every time, like, it keeps flashing back to him tracking down Marcus throughout major points in history, and every single time, Marcus beats his asshole inside out.
Right. This could have almost been like a TV series for that reason. It felt like, because, yeah, it's basically what it says in the name, the search for vengeance. It's a guy trying to get vengeance after, like, 2,000, 3,000 years, however many thousand. Yeah, and he just sucks.
He just sucks too bad at it.
Yeah, and he just keeps getting his ass handed to him. And this time he finally, spoilers, he finally gets him.
Yeah, he gets him.
It's in a dystopian New York where climate change has taken full effect, so everything's flooded. And there's a virus killing everyone.
Killing all the poor people. And we find out it was engineered by Marcus and all the rich guys.
Right, just like...
Marcus literally lives in Trump Tower, by the way. Did you notice that?
Yes. It's way too topical. Yeah, it's a giant golden tower that he lives in. It's looking over at the masses dying of a virus with flu-like symptoms.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're living in, like, the subway and stuff. And our boy Colin is just like... He's just passing through, and he meets this lady, and
Dahlia.
That's her name. And she tries to sex him into helping him get the vaccine for the virus. And
it's an acceptable form of trade.
Yeah. Well, she's a sex worker, and she's like she basically.
But she's also the
down.
leader of She's also the leader of this resistance.
Yes. And he's like, nah. And then he sees that his arch nemesis is actually the leader of this dystopian world, which it makes me wonder how. Well, we'll get to that in Highlander. But and so he's like, I'll do this shit for free. And then he basically accidentally leads a revolution where they go to get the vaccines, and he's just there to kill the bad guy. And they fight, and the lady dies via grenade being shoved in someone else's mouth.
It's pretty dope.
It's pretty dope.
She's fighting this immortal lady. Dahlia is not immortal.
Yeah.
But this immortal lady shows up and, like, stabs her through the side, like, hellaciously. And she's like, well, all right.
Yeah.
And then just crams a grenade into the immortal lady's mouth. I'm like, well, I guess that would work.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Your head will become separated from your shoulders in that situation.
Technically speaking, yeah.
Yeah.
She's also apparently the resurrection of his wife.
Yeah.
Sort of.
She's apparently.
According to, like, a pigeon.
Right, this old guy that talks to him through, like, mice and birds.
Yeah. I wasn't sure about that guy.
And occasionally billboards.
Yeah.
She, like, has come back to life a few times throughout his very long existence, and he's just been so focused on killing this dude Marcus that he hasn't noticed.
Right. And then he fucking kills him, and he walks off into the sunset. The sunset being a flooded world. I feel like I'm putting stink on this description. I should probably note this is like my second favorite Highlander.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. It might be my favorite Highlander. I'm not sure.
Anime was a good format for Highlander.
After, what is this, the 7th movie? 8th movie?
I think this is the 7th movie.
Yeah, after 7th movie, they were like, anime.
This is the 6th movie.
6th movie?
This is the 6th movie.
That was what, like, it took them that many movies to figure it out, but
yeah.
But it works really well because they don't run out of budget. It's like it doesn't.
Yeah,
look
they're able
cheesy.
to do these, like, flashing back and forward through time, and it doesn't look dumb.
Yeah,
and, like, the future stuff. I mean, the future stuff looks insane because it looks like, 1980s futuristic stuff from a Japanese anime.
Right.
Because that's what it is.
Well, yeah, it was made in 2000. It was made in the mid 2000s,
but yeah, it feels very much like an Akira or like a Ninja Scroll. Like it reminded me a lot of Ninja Scroll.
It was directed, and we'll get to it, but what's his name? Yoshiaki Kawajiri. I think I'm pronouncing that right. He did Vampire Hunter D.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
That checks out.
He also did the Animatrixes, which we'll get to. We'll get to that. Yeah, that very much checks out. It has that look.
And even kind of the same dynamic. Like D had that. Is it his hand that talks to him?
Is that it? I only watched that once.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. And he also has like a wisecracking supernatural sidekick, and I think it's his hand. If somebody in listening right now is screaming at me.
Yeah, I used to watch.
I'm sorry, I only watched it once.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of anime in college because other people would show it to me. However, I was like impossibly high every time. So my memories of anime is like, I'm not sure if that was real or that was...
I don't know if this actually happened.
Yeah. like too high.
Yeah.
Like so high that it's like, it's all like a blur.
I watched, man, this was a few years ago now. I watched the X-Files episode F Emasculata when I was too high.
Ooh.
That was not a good experience.
No. I've never really watched X-Files high. I don't think that's...
I didn't do it intentionally. Like, right. I had like eaten an edible and it was like way too potent.
Yeah.
So I'm just sitting there like, I really can't fuck with weed.
Yeah.
So like if I get like just the smallest amount, it just ruins me for the entire day.
Right. Every edible is a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
No one has ever happily eaten an edible.
You're just doing Crocodile Mile through a landmine field. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, that was neither here nor there.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Wetlander. We went through the plot.
Pretty much. It's very straightforward. It's a lot like the first movie. There's even some scenes that are identical, like when he comes back to life and the Scottish clan is like freaking out, and then one guy, like his one friend, shows up and is like, "Nope, don't kill him," and tells him to get out of there.
Right. Yeah. It's straightforward. Which is why I think it works. There's not they don't try to add new lore.
No, not really. There are like mutants.
Like, there are mutants. Let's get into Highlander. We're in Highlander. Why is there like a literal demon and a rhino man?
Just because it's an anime.
Yeah. At
like
the beginning,
I didn't even question it.
Yeah. At the beginning, he just like goes into a mall and there's like weird apocalypse dudes.
Well, he sails across like a sunken baseball stadium.
Yeah, which looked great.
It was pretty sweet, yeah. Not gonna lie.
And then he fights this guy who's riding around a chainsaw sword, and he's awesome.
Yeah, that chainsaw sword dude is pretty dope.
Yeah, he reminded me of like, what's his name? Killface? Is that the name of in Frisky Dingo?
I have not seen Frisky Dingo.
Ah, it's so good. It's so good. It's a weird sequence.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's Killface. He kills one of the guys, and I like that he causes a quickening.
Yeah.
Oh, but first there's like the music, Tom, where it does the quick cut to like someone wailing on a guitar.
It's Marcus wailing on a guitar.
That's who it is. Oh man.
Yep. He is shredding.
Yeah.
And like his immortal sidekick lady is just sitting there like can't wait to fuck him.
Yeah.
She's like, oh man, he's playing that guitar like a guy I want to fuck.
Yeah. And
he's just like, it is so amazing.
Yeah, they have determined in their thousands of years of experience that this is the best way to fuck, and they're right.
Yeah, yes.
They're like,
correct.
we fucked every way possible, because there's a flashback that shows that he met her like in some random ancient war.
It's in
Japan, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's in the Japanese Civil War.
Yeah, so like they've been at it for a while. Mm-hmm. They've been fucking every which way.
They've been fucking for like 1,500 years.
Yeah, so this is it. He's just like, what if I wail in a guitar first? And she's like, I think we found it. I think we broke the code.
This is it. This is it right here.
Yeah.
This is the passcode to my panties.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Colin kills Killface, and they see the lightning, and she goes, oh, a quickening. And I have a question about that.
Yes.
That means, like, do quickenings happen all the time?
No, I think they're...
Okay.
I think they're uncommon. I don't think they're rare, and I don't think they're common.
Okay, because she remarks on it like it's just like lightning. And also, I wonder how many times it's been just lightning. And she goes, "Oh, a quickening." And he's like, "No, I think that's just a storm."
No, babe, that's lightning.
Yeah. But she says it like it's not that amazing. She says it like she's delighted by it.
Yeah, well, she clearly, her character is established as being a person who just like lusts for death. Like she's really into killing. So I think maybe that aspect just delights her. And then I don't know. I think in this universe and in the universe they established in the Highlander TV shows, immortals are way more common.
Right. Yeah. So it is.
And there doesn't seem to be like an end game, unlike Highlander Endgame, of like catching an ultimate prize or something. It's just all of these people existing on the planet for thousands of years.
Right.
But you do gain their power if you kill them, I think. I think that appears to still be the same principle.
Yeah.
Although
this lady also...
really.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, that checks out. That checks out to me.
Yeah.
This lady also had to notice or note that she needs a longer dress.
Oh, yes. See this lady's butthole in like every single shot.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, they're stooping in Trump Tower.
Yeah, and he's wearing... Can we talk about his outfit? His future outfit?
Oh, yeah. What is he wearing?
His completely insane suspenders. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's just wearing suspenders. He's got no shirt on.
Yeah. Why is he doing that? I guess, again, because they're like, fuck it.
He looks like a Final Fight boss.
Yeah, he does. They're just in a sex lair, so they're... I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
She's wearing this ass dress, but it's like, it's in...
Right.
The privacy of their house.
It's a sexnasium uniform. That's what you wear to bone in the golden pyramid on top of your golden tower.
Yeah, that's more than fair.
They're just wearing their sexual adventurism.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been doing some weird... I mean, again, he's wailing on a guitar. They're having a great time.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, good for them. I know they're like killing a lot of people.
Relationship goals?
Yes, relationship-wise, they're
relationship
doing great.
goals.
Yeah. She takes a grenade to the mouth for him.
She sure does.
So our hero is he runs into a sewer child named Joe.
Yeah, sure.
Who has
the voice of a 30-year-old man.
Yes, he's my favorite character. He's walking down the street, and this little kid jumps out of the sewer, and he's like, "Hey, how's it going? My name's Joe. I could get you whatever you want. You want a woman?" And it's like, where are you going to get a woman, child? And he's just like, "I want whiskey." And he's like, sure, boss.
Sure, I got what you need.
Yeah. So he directs
I got you whiskey, boss. He's a child.
Is he, though? I'm not certain. I guess. I'm thinking he might be like a child, like a man trapped in a child's body.
I don't know how... I don't know how magic works.
Yeah, that's
in this
fair.
universe.
That's fair. I'm just imagining him like, "Hey, I'm Joe. I'm a 50-year-old man, and I got zapped into a child's body. What can I get you?" So he goes to the Apocalypse Bar, and he just gets whiskey drunk in the corner.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
really simmering in his own despair.
Yeah,
just sitting in the corner.
He gets a bottle of whiskey, and he's just he's like halfway through it. And then this woman approaches and says something, and it causes a giant flashback.
Yeah, what the hell does she say? You don't need that, you just need me, or something like that. And apparently his wife, Moria, back like 2,000 years ago, told him the same thing.
Right.
And it's like, bro, somebody else is going to put those words together over that long a period of time.
Right. You can't go flashing back for a half hour every single time that happens.
Can we talk about, like, every time... seemingly in the past where he gets fucked up by Marcus, like he just accidentally bumblefucks his ass into a holy place so Marcus can't kill him.
Yes, he has to keep lucking into not being murdered.
Like,
I think the first time when he gets slashed in the face,
he gets his head cut in half.
Yeah, and then the horse saves him.
Right, the horse gallops him into Stonehenge.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
the horse
I
is
guess
just
we're
like,
at
that's my
Stonehenge
chance. Yeah.
now.
And then Marcus says, like, "You lucky bastard," and it's like, he doesn't look that lucky. Also, does he know he's immortal at that point? Like, it felt like he's okay.
Yeah. That's that's after Moira's dead. That's after.
Oh right, yeah.
That's after Moira's dead, but before he teams up with the Scottish clans.
Right. Yeah, he gets owned so many times. The World War I was it scene
where he's just dead in the field.
Yeah, well, where he skydives onto the plane.
Oh, that's the World War II one.
That's the World War II. Okay,
they show World War I where he's just dead in a snowy field. It's like, how did this happen? Yeah. But how do you fuck this up?
Yeah, and then the Rome one, like it's the rebels, the
siege of Rome.
Yeah.
Where he's like Marcus is just in his fucking house painting.
Yeah, it's great. Marcus again. It's fucking. He's the road runner. Like he keeps showing up and just being like meep, and then like beating the crap out of him.
Right, he beats his ass so bad in the Rome scene. You remember he slashes like every tendon in his arms and legs so he can't walk, and then stabs him through the back into the floor so hard that there's like a blast mark on the floor.
And then
like it shattered the stone.
Right, and random people come in and he's like, oh, gotta go. But it's like, just kill those people too.
Kill those people too.
And then finish killing this guy. You've been working on this guy for a while. Like, he clearly doesn't care that much about whether or not he actually kills him.
No, he doesn't, and that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Like, there's at one point... Or I mean, Marcus is not like the most deep villain ever, but I appreciate that they gave him a little bit of depth because at one point, a few points, he explains that like, you know, being alive for so long, it can like just it's kind of pointless unless you find something other than continuing to exist that drives you.
Right.
And his thing is fighting for this empire, so he's just going to keep rebuilding this empire throughout history.
Right. Yeah, I love the scene where he's telecommunicating with a boardroom. And they're all like in suits, and he's a fucking vampire. Like
he's wearing his suspenders.
Yeah, and they're like, "Okay, sir, we'll get on that right away." And it's like, what do they talk about when he's not around? Probably about the fact that they work for a vampire.
So he's clearly a vampire, right? Because he's not even trying to disguise the fact that he's the same dude that's been alive for thousands of years. Like he just doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, you know, there's like tons of paintings with him in it. Like he's a historical figure.
Right, he's in like history books.
Yeah.
And like archival footage from World War II.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there he is. There's the boss.
Yep. There's our vampire.
D-Day.
Yeah, you know, at least one employee has done that, figured that out every single time.
Yeah.
Been like, guys, I think he's a vampire. And it's like, all right, well, we better not piss him off, I guess.
Yeah. Well, there's always like the one new guy who's like, I think he's a vampire. Like, oh yeah, no, we all know.
Yeah.
We know.
He's a vampire. He pays well. It's fine.
He pays very well, and we get to live in this tower.
Yeah. I really like the part where our hero rips at a parking meter and throws it 500 feet into the jumbo screen.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. like a javelin.
In New York, he's so mad that he sees the bad guy on the screen, and then he has like he rips at the parking meter. We get like.
It's like a 20-minute flashback.
Yeah, and then
it's so long that when it cut back to him throwing the thing into the screen, I had forgotten what scene that was.
Yes. Like, oh, right. We're still like...
right, he was standing in the road.
Yeah, like chronologically, like in terms of the actual story, we're like maybe 10 minutes in at that point, and it's like halfway through the movie. Just because they just keep giving us these flashbacks.
Yeah, you know,
which are important.
Movie.
They're important because that's the real story.
Yeah.
Like the revolution that's happening is just like a yet another historical time for him to try to get, you know, beat this guy or get his ass beat.
Yeah, try to smoke this guy.
Yeah. In Highlander tradition, this movie had a sex scene. Had a weird ass sex scene.
Sure did. There's a lot of anime titties in this movie.
Oh, yes. That's to be expected. The sex scene has like fading in and out of churches.
Yeah, they're boning in a church.
Oh, they're in the church. Okay. Yeah, that's fucking weird.
I think that's what it was trying to tell me.
Yeah, it might be the least weird Highlander sex scene though. There's been some weird ones.
I think this is the one, like the intensely graphic one in Highlander 3. Like this is less weird than that one.
Yes, for sure. Again, at least the second best Highlander. This is
right. Oh yeah, easily.
I think it's because anime, like the cheesy stuff we're talking about, like really works for anime.
Right, because it's anime.
Yeah. So it just works a lot better.
It's all cheeseball ridiculousness.
Yeah. I really liked the fight that leads to the grenade with the helicopter. That was really cool.
That was dope. Yeah. She shoots the evil immortal lady is flying this weird future helicopter, and like Dahlia shoots it up a bunch, and one of the bullets goes right through her head.
Yes.
So she crashes the helicopter and like breaks her neck.
Yeah, she goes. That was great. She goes like when she gets shot in the neck, it's like a marionette with the strings cut. She just goes limp.
Yeah.
And the helicopter just goes.
And it's when they cut back to her after a little bit, it's like a real Deadpool moment. Like she sits up and like twists her head around the correct way.
Yeah.
It's like, see, this is the shit they needed to have figured out for the other Highlander movies.
Right. They actually need like good CGI or good effects so they could have these like
or like a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Because I was like I compared it to Deadpool. The Highlanders are essentially Deadpool.
You're right, but they're not funny. They take it seriously.
Right, they take it so seriously. And it's like you'd think after like the 900th time of getting shot in the chest, you'd have like, you'd kind of laugh about it.
Right, and you would have people react in funny ways. And
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they tried to do humor in some of the... Remember the last one before this with the villain that didn't make any sense? I think he was supposed to be funny.
Wait. Which one? The Silent Hill guy?
Yeah, the Silent Hill guy. I think he was supposed to be funny.
Was he supposed to be funny? Well, he sing
weird. He said like funny, weird shit.
He said weird shit, and he sang the Queen song.
Yeah, like I think he's supposed to be funny, but he just comes off as being weird.
Has he seen Highlander?
Yeah.
Is Highlander a movie in this universe? It seems like he's seen Highlander.
Yeah. Seems like he knows exactly what movie he's in.
I can't even remember what the bad guy was in the movie before that one.
No, I don't.
The first.
It's all a blur, man. It's all a blur.
The one where Duncan has to kill Connor. I do not remember what that bad guy was. Completely gone from my mind.
Whatever.
Yeah,
whatever, man. This is
whatever, dude.
I only need the first Highlander in this one now.
Yeah,
that's pretty much all I need.
Yeah. That's I've seen them all.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah,
maybe I'll watch the show at one point, but
yeah. Maybe the show's good. Well, this was. Do we want to get into Highlander? Do we have more?
I don't have much for. Wait, I did have something for Whatlander, and now it's gone. Oh, my big thing for Whatlander is just like how is my big thing for Whatlander is just how is Marcus balancing his books for thousands of years?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like a major plot point of the first one that like Connor has to keep reinventing his identity to hide his tracks. But like I guess it's just Marcus isn't really trying to hide the fact that he's immortal.
He's not. Yeah, I don't think. I think in like the Social Security office just has his name and written under it in parentheses like immortal.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't know how to deal with this. We don't talk about it. He pays his taxes. We just try to we just try to stay out of his way.
It says here he's a vampire, and it says he's never filed taxes. Should we send him a tax return? No, don't do that.
Yeah. Do you want to send him?
Do you want to send the vampire a tax statement?
Yeah. We just leave the vampire alone. We don't talk about the vampire.
Yeah, we made this just so that we know he's there, so we can keep an eye on him.
Yeah,
and that's it. He just stays over there.
Oh man. Yeah. Good God. I wonder. Like there's no way to deal with that. I like the concept now for a vampire movie of like the government just like, yeah, we just try to stay out of the vampire's way. We don't know what to do about it. We tried to put like a tracking device in his shoe like we would for a mountain lion just so we know where he is at all times.
Right, so that we can keep track of him to make sure he doesn't eat hikers at Griffith Park.
Exactly, but like we can't stop him, so we just have to accept that he's there and tell people to, stay away if they can. But he also
to plan their outings according to the vampire schedule.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. You ready for...
like between 10 and 2 is when he normally rides his dirt bike around this area. So kind of don't be in that area.
Don't be in the dirt bike's path.
Yeah.
I love the idea that Marcus is on a dirt bike.
Of course he is. He's wailing on a guitar on his balcony. He has a dirt bike.
Yeah. He belongs in like a wood paneling rec room like in the 80s. Like that.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
oh
that's
man, he
where
would
it exists.
thrive in a suburban garage in the 1980s.
Well, he lived through the 80s, and it
Yeah.
seems like he didn't stop. He didn't continue after that. He was like, I found the perfect time to exist.
Oh, that decade really made an impact on him.
Oh yeah, and now he's like, I'm just from here on. The world may continue on, but I will forever be in the 80s, just getting laid at the mall, just wailing on my guitar, doing vampire stuff,
Yeah,
living his best.
wearing my
life.
vampire suspenders.
Yeah. God, what a good. What a like he might be the best villain of the Highlanders.
Again, him or the Kurgan in the first one.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat Clancy Brown.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to beat the first Highlander because it's kind of like it's the Terminator versus Terminator 2 thing, where it's like, well, Terminator was the first one. Like, there's something, like I think there's always something to being the first one, because it's like they created this whole world.
Yeah.
So you can't really beat that. So yeah, I think we should at the end of this try to rate them all again if we can even remember them.
Man, we'll try.
I think we did it. All right, we did it with the live actions.
So many have quickened from my brain.
Yeah. We did it with the live actions. So go back and listen to the episode before this, and just insert this movie as number 2 for me.
Yeah, I think you and I differed because I had I can't remember. You had Highlander 2 higher than I did.
Yes, I did, because that was ridiculous. But whatever the rank. This movie is now my second favorite Highlander movie.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You want to talk about Highlander?
Sure. I have no idea anything about this movie, like why it came to be, who was responsible for it.
Well, like I said, the director Kawajiri, he did the Animatrix. He did the Program, which I believe is the one where it's like ancient Japanese anime-looking one. He also wrote the one with the runner. If you remember that one, who
I have not seen any of the Animatrix.
Damn it, Tom.
I saw the one that was at the beginning of Dreamcatcher, and I don't even remember what it is.
I would argue that's the worst one too.
I think that might have turned me off to it because, obviously the big hype for Dreamcatcher was to go watch it because the Animatrix would be at the beginning of it.
Right.
So I went and watched it, and it was like a subpar Animatrix short, apparently, and then followed by Dreamcatcher.
Ooh, that's
So
bad.
it's
It's not that it's the problem with that one is that it's like one of the only ones in the Animatrix that is directly related to the plot of the Matrix. Mm-hmm. The others are just like stories that take place in the Matrix. So I believe the Program, I don't remember that one as much because I was really high. And I believe it's ancient Japanese like samurai fight, but it's in the Matrix, and it's people who are aware of the Matrix. Oh, I think hence the name. I think it's a simulated program is the reveal. But it's basically like really cool stories that take place within the Matrix. And the reason I bring up the Animatrix is because from the like interviews I've read, I think the Animatrix really had a big influence on the decision to make this movie. It was written by David Abramowitz. Abramowitz? I don't know. He did MacGyver, 21 Jump Street, Jake and the Fat Man, but also the Highlander series.
okay.
Yeah. One of the producers was Kevin Eastman, which I thought was interesting.
Oh, neat. Okay.
And he apparently had a big hand in this. But Galen Walker, the producer, I found an interview with him. And the DVD has a little bit of behind the scenes, but not much. But he basically said, like, when the Wachowskis did the Animatrix, they realized that they wanted to do something that was different for Highlander. And their thought was, if we make it an anime, if we get a Japanese director and we completely rework it, like the way he put it is that this isn't your like a Saturday morning cartoon. This isn't the Ghostbusters cartoon where they're just trying to stretch it out. He was like, let's change the genre completely, give it to people who know that genre, and like form it for a new audience. And
that's not a bad instinct.
Yeah. And he was like, he was inspired by the Animatrix to do that. And he was like, people, we haven't really done that, you know? We haven't taken like a Western property.
So was this that's interesting, because I did notice that, like, aside from the director, the entire production staff is all English names.
Yes.
So was this movie ever in Japanese?
I don't think so. That said, they had a lot of. It's like a co-production. Like I said, the writer is American, but Kawajiri did heavy rewrites, and they sort of were like, okay, you know, like they gave him a lot of power.
Let him do what he wants. Yeah.
Yeah, because he tends to write his own movies. So the fact that they came to him, and they weren't sure what he'd say, and he was a Highlander fan. And they gave him the script, and he was like, oh, I like it. And then he made changes to it, but they were all like, okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, this is... they felt lucky to have him, because...
Right, and you can tell when you watch the movie that it is very Japanese. Like, It's just... Japanese storytelling is just different. It's hard to articulate exactly how, but, like, the movies are different.
They talked about
they're told
that. They
with a
talked
different
about
sensibility.
Certain things like the 3-act structure and stuff are different. And so, yeah, they flew to Japan and basically asked him if he wanted to do it, and he did. They said there's a lot of translation, like the composers were American, so they're like, and the director, he doesn't speak English, so like there was a lot of weird translations to deal with the whole time. But yeah, Kawajiri, some of the changes, for example, there wasn't a virus in the original script. It also wasn't. There wasn't flooding. The original script, it was New York surrounded by a desert, and he added the water because it's climate change.
Yeah.
In the original script, Marcus had been kidnapping and enslaving all the children.
It's a weird instinct.
Yeah, it's a weird instinct. I think it was better to do a virus.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. I guess the implications.
It makes more sense.
Yeah, if you watch behind the scenes interviews on the DVD, you can kind of get this vibe, is that they were clearly butting heads. They were clearly frustrated about the translation issues, the fact that it's two different countries trying to work together, but they all seem very happy with what came out of it.
Yeah, you can't tell watching it that they were butting heads. Unlike the every single other Highlander movie, when you can tell that they were fighting.
Yeah. Well, all right. I don't think they were fighting. I think it was just that it was a tough working environment, having to like sort of keep translating everything, having two production teams that were speaking two different languages. Nothing seems like. It doesn't seem too dramatic, is what I'm saying, I guess. Is that, like, I think it's like any other movie, there's disagreements and stuff. They cut about, like, 7 or 8 scenes in the there's a Japanese version and a US one, for the record. And they cut, like, 7 or 8 scenes in the US version, and they added a few things. The monologue, the opening title cards are like, for the American version, because we're dumb.
Yeah, we need things to be spoon-fed to us. Yeah,
they said it was mostly like pacing issues, though. Like I couldn't find any what the deleted scenes were. But yeah, it's
no. Again, like we just mentioned, like the 3-act structure and everything is different. So it's like, yeah, I can totally see them cutting some stuff. It's like, well, it's running a little too long, and this doesn't really need to be in the movie.
The director went scouting in New York, which is kind of neat. Like they went around.
Yeah, when they pull out, there's a couple of overhead shots of New York in the film, and it's New York.
Yeah,
I mean, albeit with a giant monolithic tower in the center of it. But
the director said he was like, we spent most of the time scouting alleyways and manhole covers. And he was like, I needed to like take after that an actual trip to New York, because it wasn't sightseeing. They apparently they never got a chance to see the Statue of Liberty, and so at the time, I think the producer's wife was in Vegas and just went to New York, and bought one of those little models of Statue of Liberty, and that's what
that's funny.
Yeah, and just took it to Japan, and that's what they used for modeling that. A lot of it was like I think they did a lot of CGI.
There is some CGI, yeah.
Yeah, and then they animated over it.
You can tell there's a few not landscape shots, but there's a few like establishing shots, and there's a couple of shots of like some of the motion, like some of the vehicles in motion, where
Right.
it's it's like when you watch Aladdin and the magic carpet ride sequence, where you're like, oh, okay, there's computers here.
Right.
Doesn't look bad at all, but it's
it doesn't.
noticeable.
Yeah, it looks like modern animation.
Right. It's like when Futurama does it. Like you're like, oh, there,
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't look bad, but I recognize that there's a computer involved in this.
Yeah. In terms of recording, they recorded the voices first. It seems like
standard practice.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like the composers were talking about, they never got a final cut of the film. They got animatics and they composed all to that, which they seem to think that was unusual. I honestly don't know. With animation, it's like I don't fucking know what.
Yeah, I thought, man, yeah, because
that sounds
especially
about right.
I don't. Yeah, it sounds right. Especially with like the Disney musicals, where like we just said, you record the vocals first,
Right.
So it's like if they're singing a song, you have to have the song composed.
Yeah, the song, it must be different with the songs. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems.
Yeah. Ultimately, this is an interesting part of the interview that I read, is that they got this editor, Jeff Warner, and they recut for 2 weeks Kawajiri's cut, and he did not like that. He did not like that the producers recut his film. And the way the producer describes it is, I totally understood and respected his position, and basically I humbled myself and asked him to please consider these cuts and consider how we tried to keep the authentic feeling and view of the film. And then he says, but you can judge when the director's version comes out, which implies that they still kept their cut, right? Like, yeah. He's like, the director's version. So, like, he didn't humble himself and ask him to please. Well, maybe then he said, okay, yes. But, like, if there's a director's version, it means that that's not the version he wanted.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they cut his film and then was like, yeah, we're putting this out.
Yep. They can do that.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah. In the DVD behind the scenes, I wanted to shout out this quote because I think it's very funny. I forget what producer said this. If you don't have to watch the special features, but it's just one quote where the producer's talking about what they wanted to do with Highlander. At this point, he said, I thought we should really go back to the principle of like having a beginning, middle, and end. That I found
real novel storytelling idea, man.
Very telling about Highlander films up until this point.
Yeah.
They're like, what if we make one that makes sense?
Yeah, what if we actually have a story to tell?
Yeah. There's this other quote that I think really this is from the interview with the producer. That's actually really telling in that why I think this movie works. Is he says, we didn't want to reinvent Highlander. We didn't want to come back and say, yes, we're going to redo the franchise and reinvent the characters and tell the whole story from the beginning. We did stick to the lore of Highlander. And he goes on to say, like, we tried to follow the rules and not get too deep in following the footsteps of what have already been done. So basically they realized, like, okay, let's follow the rules. Let's not get too fucking buried in the lore, and let's just tell a new story. And I think that really worked.
Yeah.
I think that's the key to this, is that they were like, okay, keep the rules, the basic rules. Let's not try to explain why things are happening. And let's just tell a fucking story about this guy getting repeatedly beat up through time. And that's what we got. And it works.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this, actually.
I really enjoyed it, too. That's all I have for Highlander. Surprisingly, more than I thought I'd get. But there's one interview. It's an interview with, I think, Ain't It Cool? That he really goes into the production.
Interesting.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? This is it, Tom.
I know. Yeah. No. You just mentioned "Ain't It Cool," and that just reminded me of Harry Knowles' weirdly pornographic review for Blade 2. You remember that?
No.
Where he's
I'm gonna have to read it.
You have to look it up, you guys, because he like goes on and on about how like Blade 2 fucked his mind pussy and shit. Like he says some weird, vile shit in it. He's legit a maniac. Anyway.
Yeah, this has been quite an adventure. I think if I were to make a graph of my experience watching the Highlanders, it would start high. It
In the
would
Highlands.
slowly get low,
Yeah.
and then it would shoot up real quick, right at the end.
Right. It would look like a plane crashing into the ocean and then suddenly getting sucked up by a spaceship.
Yes. It would look like a shark's fin upside down.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah. It's
Accurate.
That's Highlander. So, like,
An
kind
upside down
of...
shark's fin.
Yeah, I feel like if I had to recommend how to experience Highlander...
I would watch the first one, and then I would watch Highlander the anime.
Yeah, I was going to suggest, actually, watching the first one, the second one to understand why you shouldn't keep watching those, and then the anime. Like, if...
That's fair.
Yeah, like, because I think there'll be an instinct to be like, well, the anime was good, the first one was good, what about all these in the middle? I bet they're good. And they're, they're not. They're not that good. They have a lot of heart at places. This is a tragic production in general.
Yeah.
Like, everything we've learned about this production, it's you know what it's like, Tom?
What's it like?
It's like spending an eternity trying to kill someone only to get killed every single
Only to
time
have him
and beat
beat
up.
your entire ass.
Yeah, this
every
movie...
time you meet up.
Yeah, this movie like symbolizes kind of the Highlander franchise. It's just they kept trying and they finally got it again. And that's this movie. Man, we've come such a long way.
We have. We've slingshotted around the moon.
Yeah. But I think that's it. I think
we're done. I think we've done our job. We've done our duty.
I think so too. James, again, can't thank you enough. James Rainey.
It's been a journey.
It has been a journey. It's been a fucking... I feel like we're back at the Shire, and I'm not sure I'll ever be the same again. Mm-hmm. And I got to go fuck off with the elves.
Yep, I got to go on a boat with the elves to eternity.
Yeah, what were they? Is that where they were going?
Yeah, they're going to like the Undying place. I forget what it's called.
Okay.
They're going to heaven, basically.
I assume they're just having all the sex.
Well, yeah, they're going to be on top of their sexnasium pyramids, wailing on guitars and fucking each other in their butthole dresses and their chest suspenders.
Damn right they are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for hanging out inside and listening.
Yeah. We appreciate you all, especially James Rainey. Who made us do this.
Yeah. Who made us do this. Didn't flinch.
He stared unblinkingly into the sun.
Uh-huh.
Like a warrior poet.
And he pointed and he said, I want you to go there. And we did it.
We had no choice but to oblige.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yeah.
Should we plug our Patreon?
Are we? I guess so. Yeah. I know times is tough, but...
Yeah, patreon.com/gamefully unemployed. Yeah, times is tough. Do what you want. I don't know, man.
We're there.
I hope
we continue to survive on your support, but we totally understand that times is tough right now.
Yeah, and so I just hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're lying on the floor with your kids, your family all around you, and this is keeping you just a little more sane.
We hope you and your family are all lying on the floor, incapacitated.
Yeah. Incapacitated. No, fully awake. You're experiencing everything.
Yeah, you're every sensation. You can't do anything about it, but...
Yes. I hope you've been paralyzed by some sort of sci-fi drug.
Some sort of fugu venom.
Yeah. And you're just riding it out now because you did it to yourself. You were really, trying to invent the drug.
You are to blame. Yeah. You are to blame here.
Yeah, you put it in the muffins because you thought you were gonna like Heaven's Gate your family.
Right. You thought that comet was a spaceship, but it was really just a comet.
Now you're sitting there paralyzed for a couple hours. The last thing you did is put on this podcast because that's what you wanted you and your family to all die
to slip into eternity.
Right. But instead you're hearing our voices right now.
Yeah, and there's nothing you can do about it, man.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Should have thought about that.
All right.
Now who's the jerk?
It's fucking you.
It's you, buddy.
Oh, shit.
Oh.